On the morning of November 2nd, 2016, a woman vanished without a trace. The search for Sherri Papini would ignite a firestorm of fear, hope, and ultimately betrayal, one that exposed the fragile line between truth and deception in a small California town. Redding is a place where the Sacramento River winds through towering pines and golden hills, where neighbors still leave their doors unlocked. Here, Sherri Papini lived with her husband Keith and their two young children. By all accounts, she was a devoted mother, a fitness enthusiast, well liked by those who knew her. Then, one November morning, she went for a jog and never came home. The first sign something was wrong came when Keith returned from work to find his wife's car abandoned on a rural road. The driver's door was open, her cell phone and earbuds lay nearby, and a dark stain, later confirmed as blood, marred the pavement. Within hours, the Shasta County Sheriff's Office launched an investigation, and the story of Sherri's disappearance spread quickly. Her face appeared on news broadcasts and missing person flyers across the country. Theories swirled. Had she been abducted by human traffickers? Was this the work of a serial predator? The fear was palpable. If something like this could happen here, it could happen anywhere. Then 3 weeks later, on Thanksgiving morning, a 911 call reported a woman wandering along Interstate 5, bruised and barely able to speak. Deputies found Sherri Papini alive, but barely. She was rushed to the hospital, where doctors confirmed she had been bound, beaten, and held captive for 22 days. The story she told was harrowing. Two Hispanic women had abducted her, held her in a closet, and tortured her before releasing her. The nation breathed a sigh of relief. Sherri was home, but the truth would prove far more complicated. In the days that followed, investigators scrutinized her account. The details were inconsistent. The physical evidence didn't match her claims. Why had her abductors released her? Why had they chosen her? And why had no other victims come forward? As the investigation deepened, a darker possibility emerged. What if Sherri's kidnapping wasn't a kidnapping at all? What if the truth was something far more personal? Financial records revealed Sherri had withdrawn large sums of money before her disappearance. She had also been in contact with an ex-boyfriend, James Reyes, who lived in Southern California. The pieces of the puzzle began to shift. Then, in March 2022, the FBI made a stunning announcement. After years of investigation, they had uncovered evidence that Sherri had not been abducted. She had orchestrated the entire ordeal herself. According to federal documents, Sherri had paid Reyes to abduct and restrain her, staging the kidnapping to cover up an affair. The injury she sustained had been self-inflicted or inflicted by Reyes at her direction. The two Hispanic women she described didn't exist. The revelation sent shockwaves through Redding and beyond. How could a woman fake her own kidnapping? How could she put her family and community through such pain? And why? To understand Sherri Papini, you have to understand the world she lived in. Redding is a town of contradictions, natural beauty, alongside struggles with poverty, addiction, and isolation. It's also a place where appearances matter. Sherri curated an image of the perfect life on social media. A loving marriage, two beautiful children, a fit and healthy body. But behind the scenes, friends and family described a woman who was deeply unhappy, trapped in a marriage that had grown stale, craving attention and validation. Keith Papini was a quiet man, devoted to his family, but often absorbed in his work. Their marriage was not the fairy tale Sherri portrayed online. In the years leading up to her disappearance, she had grown distant, spending more time at the gym, more time online, and less time at home. Some speculated she was struggling with depression, though she never sought help. Others wondered, if she was simply restless in a life that no longer fulfilled her. Then there was the affair. James Reyes, the man Sherri paid to abduct her, was someone she had known for years. They had dated in their early 20s before Sherri met Keith. In the months leading up to her disappearance, they reconnected online and their relationship turned romantic. According to federal documents, Sherri had been planning her escape for months. She saved money, researched how to fake a kidnapping, and even practiced self-harm to make her injuries look authentic. The plan was elaborate, but why go to such extremes? Some psychologists suggest Sherri's actions were a cry for help, a desperate attempt to break free from a life that had become unbearable. Others believe it was a calculated move to gain sympathy, to become the center of attention. Whatever her motives, the consequences were devastating. Keith Papini, who had stood by his wife through the ordeal, was left humiliated and heartbroken. Their children, who had grown up in the shadow of their mother's disappearance, now had to grapple with the knowledge that she had lied to them for years. The legal fallout was swift. In March 2022, Sherri was arrested and charged with mail fraud and making false statements to federal investigators. In September, she pleaded guilty to both charges. As part of her plea agreement, she admitted fabricating the entire kidnapping, paying Reyes to restrain her, and lying to law enforcement repeatedly. The judge sentenced her to 18 months in federal prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release. She was also ordered to pay more than $300,000 in restitution to the agencies that had investigated her case. The story of Sherri Papini is about the power of narrative. We live in a world where stories shape our reality, where the lines between truth and fiction are often blurred. Sherri's kidnapping hoax was a story she told herself as much as she told the world. A story of victimhood, of survival, of a woman who had endured the unthinkable. But when the truth came out, it wasn't just her story that unraveled. It was the trust of an entire community, the faith of a family, and the belief that the truth would always prevail. There are still questions that linger. Why did Sherri choose this path? Was it really about the affair, or was there something deeper driving her? And what about the people who loved her? How do you reconcile the woman they thought they knew with the woman who would go to such lengths to deceive them? Perhaps the most haunting question is this: what happens when a story you tell yourself is more important than the truth? For Sherri Papini, the answer is a cautionary tale, one of lies that spiraled out of control, of a life built on deception, and of the devastating cost of living in a world of your own making. In the end, the case of Sherri Papini is more than just a crime story. It's a mirror held up to our fascination with drama, with victimhood, with the idea that truth is whatever we choose to believe. It's a reminder that, sometimes, the most dangerous lies are the ones we tell ourselves. And it's a warning that, in a world where stories can be crafted with a click of a button, the line between reality and fiction has never been thinner. Sherri Papini is out of prison now, living quietly, but the echoes of her story remain a testament to the power of deception, the fragility of trust, and the enduring mystery of what drives a person to lie, not just to the world but to themselves.